It's fine learning the principles of design and the theories, but when it comes to actually designing, you might feel like it's not that simple to apply. And that's why I'm giving you a fresh graphic design approach for 2025. I'm going to show you a step-by-step process to set up your designs with confidence. And get this, it works every time. This channel is for designers who are serious about their skill and their craft, and I'm not just here to show you about a Photoshop tool or what's trending in 2025. So serious designers, let's drill down into proper graphic design. Let's say you're designing a promotional poster for a music festival aimed at young adults who love electronic dance music. Now, ask yourself, what's the purpose of this design? It might be to inform and to excite potential people who are going to go to that festival while reflecting on the energy of the event. Who is the audience? Primarily people aged 18 to 30 who enjoy high energy music, vibrant nightlife, and social gatherings. Now, this clarity informs every decision moving forward, and it's very, very important. So for this design, we'll want to use potentially bold visuals, striking typography, and colors that evoke excitement and energy. Things like neon tones or electric contrasts. But more about this later, and without this foundational understanding, your design risks missing the mark entirely. And on your graphic design projects, I do suggest that you go really hard on understanding and identifying your audiences. Now, for gathering inspiration and references, start by looking at examples of posters from similar events, such as rave festivals or club nights. Ask yourself what catches your eye. Maybe it's a dynamic use of gradients, the futuristic typography, or the way the designs layer textures or create depth. And for this project, you might collect references showcasing neon gradients to emulate nightclub lighting, abstract geometric patterns for modern edgy feels, typography that balances boldness with readability. These are just examples though, of course. And tools like Pinterest, Behance, or Dribbble can help with this process, but don't just stop there. Pay attention to other mediums like album covers or even fashion trends, and this would inspire unique approaches for your project. Remember, the goal is to absorb ideas and get a feel for the visual communication of this niche, not to copy ideas. But the next step can really make or break your graphic design's success. Next, we need to craft a visual language through color and typography, as well as other things too. Your color palette and typography are more than just aesthetic choices. They are tools that will define the personality of your design and communicate its purpose to the audience. Now, if you fail this step, your design will totally miss the mark, and I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. For a music festival poster, imagine creating an atmosphere that captures the energy of nightlife and the thrill of live music. Maybe start with bold palettes like vibrant purples, neon greens, and electric blues. These colors instantly evoke excitement, fun, and cutting-edge vibes. And if you pair that with a dark background, for example, for strike and contrast, this ensures the design feels dynamic and modern, but also it captures the essence of nightlife linked to dance music festivals and genres. As you can see, we're linking everything back here. But next, focus on typography, and that is to tailor it to the message and to the audience. So perhaps for the festival name, we could use a bold, futuristic sans serif font, and that is to make the title impossible to ignore. This choice signals energy and modernity, perfect for a young, trendy crowd. For event details, we need to go for a slightly different approach. Here, we want clean, legible typefaces such as Roboto or Open Sans. And these fonts ensure the crucial information like dates and locations is clear, even at a quick glance. And again, yes, we are linking every choice back to the purpose of our design. But here's something really useful that you should be keeping in mind. When crafting your visual language, consider how and where your audience will encounter the poster. It might be in a busy subway station or on a fast scrolling social media feed. They'll need to absorb key information almost instantly, but they do need to be drawn in first and foremost. But yeah, test your fonts for legibility across different sizes and formats to ensure nothing gets lost. By thoughtfully pairing color and typography, you're not just making the poster look good, you're creating a visual language that connects with the audience, conveys the event's vibe, and ensures the design's message lands perfectly. But just remember that visual language goes further than just typography and colors. You want to use imagery, symbols, shapes, and psychology to actually fit into the niche that you've actually established. But a little more about that later. And next, we're going to consider a very important step indeed. Now we're going to define psychology and messaging before structure and layout. So yeah, before you dive into grids and layouts, pause to consider psychology behind your design. Ask yourself, what emotion or reaction should the design evoke? Is it excitement, curiosity, urgency, and so on? What message is the design communicating? Is it about the festival's vibrant energy? Is it about exclusive lineups? Or is it just simply a cutting-edge vibe? Once you understand the psychology and the message behind your design, you can make informed decisions about how to organize the elements in terms of layout. For example, if the goal is to create excitement, you'll need dynamic visuals and a layout that grabs attention immediately. If clarity is the key, such as ensuring people know when and where to go for the event, your structure should prioritize readability. We now want to do something very clever, and that is to build a layout around the psychology and the intention. So let's take the music festival poster as an example again. Start by imagining how someone interacts with the design. We have the first impression. Their eye is drawn to the headline or the key visuals, and this is where you deliver the emotional hook or the focal point. Information flow. Now they can scan for supporting details like dates, location, and lineups. Action. They look for actionable information like ticket links or contact details. And to align with this thought process, use a grid as your framework. So the top section could be dedicated to the festival's name in a bold visual that conveys the energy. You can use large type and striking imagery like neon gradients or abstract shapes, and this will grab attention. At the midsection, you can organize essential details such as the date, location, the lineup, and so on. A clean structure arrangement here ensures the information is easy to find. And the bottom section can be reserved for space for action-oriented elements like ticket purchase info, website links, or social media headlines. Now using a grid, and the grid will depend on your personal choice and the design, ensures everything is aligned and intentional, but it doesn't have to be rigid. Once you've mapped out the essential structure, look for ways to break it strategically. For example, let the festival name span across multiple columns to create impact. Overlay design elements like abstract patterns or glowing effects to add a sense of motion and energy. Tilt or angle certain elements slightly to convey vibrancy of the event. As you can hopefully see, it's very vitally important that you do understand or establish the psychology and the intention of your design. And that's because after you've done that, every design choice and decision can relate back to that understanding. Now that you've gone through the 4 stages and crafted a solid design, here's a technique that most designers will overlook, but it can elevate your work from good to unforgettable. Ask yourself, what story or message is my design telling beneath the surface? Introduce cultural or symbolic meaning. Think about your audience's values and how to subtly reflect them. For instance, for an audience that values connection, you could add geometric patterns in the grid that symbolize unity, such as interlocking circles or lines. Or you could simply just show imagery of people actively dancing together and being social. Layer with an interactive visual cue. You could add a QR code or even AR elements that bring your design to life. Now for the festival poster, maybe scanning a QR code could reveal an animated version of the poster, and it would have glowing typography or pulsating colors that mimic the festival's energy. This would really draw them in and really sell the idea and the feeling of this festival. Test for emotional response. So step back and critique your design not just for technical perfection, but for how it feels. Show it to someone in your target audience and ask, does this excite you? Would it make you want to act and go? If the answer is not a resounding yes, then you need to refine those subtle layers of emotion. So here we're looking at ways to take the design to that next level. But again, we're always keeping in mind the message of the design and the target audience. It might be just as simple as adding some relevant graphics or symbols to the niche, but everything should have a purpose. And if you'd like to discover more content on actual real graphic design, not just Photoshop tutorials or fluff pieces, then subscribe to Satori Graphics for future content and click a video on screen. But until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.